In today's session, we are dealing with transcription of RNA. Transcription is the process by which a new RNA is synthesized on a DNA template. The nucleotide sequence on the DNA is copied onto RNA. This formation of RNA is called transcription. You know that DNA is double-stranded and only one strand acts as the template for RNA synthesis. This strand is called antisense strand or the template strand. While the RNA is synthesized, the nucleotides are placed on the basis of their complementarity. Look at the first nucleotide here. The nucleotide in the antisense strand or the template strand of DNA is adenine, and complementary to that, uracil is placed in the RNA. Next nucleotide in DNA is thymine, and complementary to that, adenine is placed in the RNA. Guanine is placed in the RNA, complementary to cytosine in DNA. If you carefully look at the whole nucleotide sequence of the RNA, you can see that it is identical to the nucleotide sequence of the other DNA strand. Only thing is that uracil comes in the place of thymine since it is RNA. This DNA strand, whose nucleotide sequence is identical to that of the RNA, is called the sense strand or coding strand. We can see that only one DNA strand is serving as the template for RNA synthesis. It is called the template strand or the antisense strand. The nucleotides of the RNA are arranged on the template DNA strand. The sequence of the newly formed RNA will be identical to the other DNA strand. It is called the sense strand or the coding strand. RNA synthesis or transcription is mediated by an enzyme called RNA polymerase. The RNA polymerase is a multi-subunit enzyme. In prokaryotes, there is only one type of RNA polymerase, but in the case of eukaryotes, there are different types of RNA polymerases. RNA polymerase 1 transcribes ribosomal RNA, RNA polymerase 2 transcribes messenger RNA, and RNA polymerase 3 transcribes transfer RNA. The structure of RNA polymerase is well studied in the bacterium E. coli. As I told, RNA polymerase is a multi-subunit enzyme. RNA polymerase is formed of two components called core enzyme and sigma factor. The core enzyme and sigma factor combine to form the complete RNA polymerase holo enzyme. Only the holo enzyme can initiate transcription. The core enzyme is again formed of 5 subunits, 2 alpha subunits, 1 beta dash, and an omega subunit. These 5 subunits together form the core enzyme. For initiating transcription, the core enzyme needs to combine with the sigma factor to become the holo enzyme. Holo enzyme can initiate transcription. Now let us go to the details of the process of transcription. The RNA synthesis involves 4 steps: template recognition, initiation, elongation, and termination. The first step in the process of transcription is template recognition. The RNA polymerase holo enzyme has to identify the nucleotide sequence from where transcription is to be initiated, and it has to specifically bind to that sequence. This process is called template recognition. The sequence of DNA to which the RNA polymerase holo enzyme binds is called the promoter. Before the starting point of every gene, there will be a promoter. Many promoters sequenced so far have the base sequence TATAATG with minor variations. Hence, it is usually referred to as Tata box. In prokaryotes, this region is called Pribnow box, and in eukaryotes, it is called Hogness box. The RNA polymerase holo enzyme specifically recognizes the promoter sequence and binds to it. This is the first step called template recognition. The component of RNA polymerase that helps in template recognition is the sigma factor. Without sigma factor, the core enzyme cannot bind to the promoter because it cannot distinguish between promoter sequence and other sequences of DNA. The second step in transcription is initiation. The binding of RNA polymerase to the promoter unwinds and separates the coiled DNA strands. This makes the template strand of DNA available for base pairing with ribonucleotides. The RNA polymerase remains at the promoter while the first 9 nucleotides are transcribed and bonds are formed between the ribonucleotides, forming the short strip of new RNA. Once the 9 nucleotides are added, the RNA polymerase moves forward along the DNA. These whole events constitute initiation. Immediately after initiation, the sigma factor is separated and released from the core enzyme. It is now available for binding with another core enzyme to start another cycle of transcription. Sigma factor is required only for template recognition and initiation of transcription. The rest of the transcription process is carried out by the core enzyme. The RNA polymerase reads the template DNA strand in the 3' to 5' direction and RNA transcript will be formed in the 5' to 3' direction. The nucleotides are added to the 3' end of the growing RNA strand. The third step in transcription is elongation. During this phase, the RNA polymerase moves along the DNA and extends the growing RNA chain. As the enzyme moves, it unwinds the DNA helix to expose a new segment of template DNA strand. Behind the RNA polymerase, the DNA strands rewind to form the double helix where transcription has already completed. The RNA chain grows in the 5' to 3' direction and new nucleotides are added to the 3' end of the growing RNA chain. The newly formed RNA is complementary to the template strand and identical to the coding strand. Only difference is that thymine is replaced by uracil. At the growing end, RNA remains associated with the template DNA strand for a short distance. This is called RNA-DNA hybrid. RNA synthesis takes place within a transcription bubble which contains the two separated DNA strands, one acting as the template. As RNA polymerase moves along the DNA, the bubble moves with it and the RNA chain grows longer. As the bubble progresses, the DNA duplex reforms behind it, displacing the RNA in the form of a single polynucleotide chain. The last step in transcription is termination. It requires a sequence in DNA called the stop sequence or terminator sequence. When the RNA polymerase reaches the terminator sequence, no further bases will be added to the 3' end of RNA chain. When the last base is added to RNA chain, the transcription bubble collapses, the DNA reforms in duplex state, and the RNA polymerase and new RNA are both released. In E. coli, terminators are of two kinds, intrinsic terminators and row-dependent terminators. In the case of intrinsic terminators, when the stop sequence is reached, the RNA polymerase itself can terminate transcription. When the termination process begins, the transcribed RNA forms a stable secondary hairpin loop structure. This is called the stem loop. The hairpin loop has a high GC content. The hairpin loop structure is followed by multiple uracil nucleotides. RNA polymerase has a protein called NUS-A or N-utilization substance protein A. The NUS protein binds to the stem loop structure tightly enough so that the RNA polymerase stops moving along the DNA. The pausing of RNA polymerase occurs with the transcription of polyuracil sequence. The RNA polymerase dissociates from DNA and the RNA transcript is also released. In row-dependent termination, the core enzyme of RNA polymerase requires the participation of a chain terminating protein called Rho. The row-dependent terminators are rich in cytosine residues and poor in G residues. During elongation, the Rho protein attaches to the Rho recognition site on RNA and it moves along the RNA following the RNA polymerase. When RNA polymerase pauses at the terminator sequence, the Rho protein catches the RNA-DNA hybrid and unwinds the hybrid. Finally, the core enzyme, Rho protein and RNA are all released. Here you have today's assignment. Look at this picture, carefully observe and you have to answer this question. This picture illustrates dash phase of transcription. You have four options here: initiation, elongation, intrinsic termination and Rho dependent termination. You have to make the correct choice and submit the answer as your today's assignment.